Today is Palm Sunday, the Sunday that begins Holy Week and the week that changed truly the history of the world and that changed all of our lives for those of us who are followers of Christ. Today and throughout this week, we'll be reading scriptures that connect to Jesus' experience during Holy Week. And we begin with one of the scriptures we'll be sharing in our worship service from Mark chapter 11, verses 1 through 11, which is about Jesus' entry into Jerusalem. And Jesus dramatizes his offer of himself as a Messiah, coming very humbly on a colt, on a donkey, not on a war horse, not in conquest, but offering himself. And like so many of Jesus' spoken parables, this enacted parable of him offering himself in humility, it has to be understood and accepted. And by some people it is, and others it's not. Our verse of the day that I want to highlight, and you can read Mark chapter 11, verses 1 through 11 to get the whole story there. Verse 3 is Jesus giving instructions to his disciples, saying, "If anyone says to you, 'Why are you doing this?' that is, untying the colt, just say this, 'The Lord needs it, and will send it back here immediately.'" Part of why I like to highlight that verse is I often have wondered, and for those of you who may have seen the latest season of The Chosen in theaters, they show us this scene with two of Jesus' disciples, Matthew and Simon the Zealot, walking into town, and they're talking about, well, how are we going to find it, and how are we going to know? And but it's interesting to me to think about, in your own life, what does the Lord need from you? What do you have that you can offer the Lord for his service, for his purposes, to accomplish his will? Because I think, in a sense, this command of Jesus saying the Lord needs it, that we all have things the Lord needs, even if we may be older, we may be homebound, we may not be able to get out much, we may not be able to come to worship in person, but I believe as long as we're alive, we all have things that the Lord needs and can use to help to further his work and his ministry. And so I just encourage you to be prayerful about that today. And even to ask God, what do I still yet have that you can use to be a blessing for others and to accomplish your will? Because I believe if we all pray that prayer, if we all genuinely ask God how we might be put to use, that's a prayer God will usually answer, because God will use anyone who is willing to serve.